Hello, founders. Welcome to another pitch deck critique and review. And this time we have Coalesce or Coalesce. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I apologize if I'm butchering it, but it says where financial data meets intelligent automation. This is a pre-seed deck. As we get a lot of pre-seed decks, I want to help all of you at all stages out there. And I know that they are trying to raise $750K. And this obviously is in the fintech space, meets AI. And there's a lot of AI washing going around, but I appreciate the way that this startup approached the AI in this one, and I'll show you why. But let's look into this deck and see how we can help this startup improve, figure out their deck so they can go raise that pre-seed funding. Before we continue, my name is Ed Kang. I'm a 7-time funded founder with 2 exits. I'm also Chief Strategy Officer for Startups.com, and this is my new home for pitch deck critiques and reviews. Not only am I the Chief Strategy Officer here and I advise startups, but I'm also the creator in residence, and that's the reason we have teamed up together for my YouTube stuff and advise founders and all the resources that we have. Speaking of which, check us out, Startups.com, if you haven't done so already. A lot of free resources. If you're a founder out there and you want your pitch deck critiqued and reviewed, stay till the end of the video. I'll explain to you how you can get that done. In the meantime, do the YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe. Always helpful. Would love to hear your feedback. Without further ado, let's jump into this pitch deck. So first off, I want to make a comment on this statement right here. I like that we've got a little bit of a purpose statement. I like the fact that it's not too hypey. It's not talking to the customer in a hyperbolic way. You're saying where financial data meets intelligent automation. The question is for what? What is the purpose of intelligent automation? Are you saying intelligent automation is going to help this financial data to make better decisions? Or are you saying that financial data is going to impact intelligent automation and that's going to take automation to the next level? You see how I got question marks and you've already created a little bit of friction in my brain. So I like what you're trying to do. I think it just misses the mark a little bit here, but see if you can improve it. But stay in the vein, keep it simple. I'm okay with this as a start. Now, right away, as soon as we get to the problem, we've got way too much information. And this is very typical for early stage founder pre-seed decks. If you take our course at Startups.com, you know that we want to have just one stark headline right up at the top, and we want to make sure that we don't have to have all these bullet points and create all this data information. But let's look at this and try to break it down and see what would work. Hours lost in manual document matching. So this is one problem. Get rid of vouching for the problem. The vouching problem, I don't understand, just problem. And then you have this statement, auditors spend excessive time manually verifying transactions and emailing clients for missing files, draining productivity and driving up costs. Great, fantastic. And then you got all this information. Well, all the raw materials are there for you to incorporate all this into this one statement. I want you to tell me how many auditors spend how much excessive time. So give me some hard data that you've got down here and how much it costs. That's what I'm looking for. Size, scope, and severity. So if you told me that, I'm just making up these numbers, 100 million auditors spend an extra 8 to 16 hours per client manually verifying transactions that end up costing an additional $10 billion. Again, I'm making this all up, because everything's manual, driving up cost, mistakes, something like that. You see how I combined it all? And I'm just making this right up on the spot. Not expert in your industry, but I can fundamentally see that there are a lot of data points that you could integrate into this one headline, and that's all you need. This is where the simple hack is: feed all this information in a ChatGPT and say, hey, this is for an investor for my startup, and I want one sentence that summarizes everything in as simple terms as possible that an investor without technical information, technical insider knowledge in my industry will understand. And you'll be amazed what ChatGPT can come up with. I use it all the time. In fact, ChatGPT 01 is my best friend. I even run the problem statements that I like and that I've created through ChatGPT, and I always get improvement. So use the tools that are available to you. This is a simple hack. If you're not doing it, other founders are, and their problem statements and their pitch decks are coming out better than yours, and you've got competition. You don't want to be left behind. Do it. So here's a word from the expert. I don't need to see this. This doesn't do anything whatsoever. If I had a magic wand, I'd create a software routine that automatically matches selected expenses to supporting documentation such as invoices or receipts. This would eliminate the need for individuals to manually trace each item supporting documentation. All that stuff you said in your problem statement. So this, we don't need this whatsoever. All you've done is you've added an extra slide. I don't need to see this. You could later maybe put this in your traction, which I know I've looked at, and we're going to have issue with this later on. And you say 30 plus auditors and accountant user interviews. This is a traction slide. Don't put it up front here. Move it to later on in your deck. You're going to be okay if you do so. It doesn't take anything away not to have that here. Solution, once again, my eyes are burning because this is assaulting my eyeballs. It's a wall of text, but I'm going to predict that you've got all the information that is required to go here, and we're going to see if we can figure this out. So solution, this is an automated AI-driven document vouching and request. I don't know what that means, but you basically say, this is the good one right here, okay? We built a platform that automates the most time-consuming parts of audits. That is matching transactions to chasing missing documents so auditors can focus on higher level analysis. That's all you really need. You say our document matches and solves the problem that was in the problem statement. If the problem is matching, say we used AI to match documents. As you said in your customer testimonial, that's what they wanted. All this stuff, you don't need to have that in here. This is too complicated. A lot of this is going to go into the how it works. So don't put it in there. Just say very frankly, straight out in one headline, our solution solves the problem in this unique way. And if you can, add something in terms of the ROI, say in 90% less of the time, or eliminates 100% of all the errors, if that's going to be the pain point. So in both instances, in the problem and solution statement, you have all the data, and kudos to you for putting that in there. You're a thoughtful group of founders. I understand that. Now, hone it down, because the more you talk, the more chances you have of saying something that the investor is not going to understand, creates fiction, or doesn't like it. Creates that friction, as I was saying, or doesn't want to do any more work because you're giving them a headache. Don't leave it up to that chance. Use ChatGPT, slim it down. The more concise you are, the more confident that you come across as founders. Do it that way and see the difference. Because if you know how to simplify things down, as Einstein says, if you can't simplify it down, you don't understand it enough. So don't get insecure and just throw up over the investor, all over your pitch deck, and pitch slap all the investors out there. Make it concise, boil it down, and you're going to be just fine. So here's how it works. End-to-end automated vouching. And again, this vouching, I just don't know what that means because you haven't explained that properly. Maybe if you put that in the problem statement, that vouching is the big problem and vouching is this, and therefore our solution is automated vouching. All right. From document ingestion and real-time anomaly detection, our AI pipeline saves 8 to 16 hours per client by handling every step of the vouching process. Okay. So except for the fact I don't know what vouching means, this is a really great sentence, actually. I'm going to give you a little happy face on this one. It's a great sentence. And you got the steps: document ingestion, OCR, extraction, transaction matching, real-time audit dashboard. This is not bad, actually, not bad. You've got way too much going on here. In fact, all you have to do is put in automatic transaction matching and all those things. You don't need all the information. You got this one headline up at the top, get rid of all this stuff here, and then give me a 1, 2, 3, 4. And this slide, actually, you're good to go. So kudos to you on this one. See, I know you know how to get this done. You just have to refine and keep pushing your pitch deck. And just as I say this, I get this, and I have no idea what's happening here. This looks like another how it works slide, and maybe these are your interfaces, which is great that you've got things going on. I want you to explain it to me in the traction slide, but I don't need to see all this right now. I'm going to take that for granted that the other slide was strong enough. Just get rid of this and keep going. Maybe have some screenshots on the other slide, but that's it. Massive growing market. Now, I would have liked to have seen this market slide right after the solution slide, but that's okay. Auditing compliance is a $10 billion sector struggling with inefficiencies ripe for AI-driven transformation. Yeah, you know what? I dig it. I like your headlines. They're actually really doing well for me, and so I can tell that you paid attention to my stuff. Key points: 4 million audit professionals, Big Four alone, $200 an hour. Okay, so now you've lost me. So what I want you to do is just explain to me that if everybody, the number of users, bought your stuff and paid what you're expecting, then this is your TAM. Just explain that. You've given me a top-down. This is a top-down analysis. I don't mind a top-down statement, but I need a bottom-up TAM statement. This is bottom-up. And then you want to figure out hey, this is where we're going to focus on, which technically is your SAM based on your business model or your strategic advantage, your unfair advantage, or, a geographic area. But I don't need all of this. This should go into calculations to say, hey, this is how much that we could make. So we started this slide off good, but now I want you to just really give me the TAM and maybe the SAM and say, we're going to focus on this part of the market and grow into our TAM if that's the way that you want to do it, or give me a legitimate TAM, SAM, SOM slide. Business model, always having that come after your how it works. So it needs to go market, how it works, business model. We charge a monthly fee for continuous AI-powered document vouching transaction matching. All right. So all you have to do is just say we charge a monthly fee. Subscription based. Actually, this is enough. You don't even need any of this stuff, right? And you can say we have tiered pricing, and then just give me what the prices are. So you've got these little prices in there. I don't know if these are it, but just explain to me and then say boom, boom, boom. These are the prices that we plan to charge. And if you already talked to 30 auditors or people in your industry, then it's battle tested, and I'm going to believe you. You've got the data, and your assumptions are going to be closer to correct. Go-to-market strategy, win pilot projects with auditing teams that expand via top-down enterprise deployment, strong referral. That's not a strategy. That's what you plan to do. That's great. That's the objective, but you're not explaining to me the strategy. So as much as I appreciate the fact that you've got a good headline, which is great, this headline needs to be reworked, and you need to explain to me what a strategy is going to be for you. So pilot first, land, expand, target champions, partner with accounting firms, sticky, ongoing usage. This is all generic. So what I want to know is, based on your experience, what is the hack? What is the unique insight that you are going to do instead of just generic tactics? What have you figured out that other competitors haven't? And just explain, like, we're going to literally just use our relationships and get our foot in the door and network our way to those first pilot projects. And this is how we're going to give free demos and eventually get to champions. These are all very generic things. Of course, everyone wants to partner with accounting firms. That's not helping me. It's not differentiating you. And therefore, the investor is not going to believe that you are capable of implementing and really getting something out into the market. Competitive landscape. While other solutions tackle pieces of the audit puzzle, Coalesce is document first, automating both vouching and client follow-ups in real time to eliminate repetitive tasks and uncover anomalies faster. That is a mouthful. I sort of understand where you're going. I appreciate the headline once again, but you're document first. Does that mean everybody else doesn't do document first? Automated both vouching. So that's where you say document first, AI driven. Like, it doesn't stand out for me. And once again, we want to highlight this for a moment. Let's discuss this. I'm not an expert in your industry, and therefore you have to dumb it down for me. You have choices. You can either talk to investors that know the accounting space and they go, oh, that's a no-brainer. And that limits you to a sliver of investors, people who have domain industry experience, who got the inside technical knowledge, and also have the money to invest in you. Most likely, you're going to be pitching investors who've got money, who are interested in the space. They believe in financial, fintech, automating accounting. They believe that it's the next thing that's going to be a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, but they don't have that inside knowledge. And therefore, you have to lay it out in a way that you are talking to them literally like they are in junior high and you've appeared at their career day and you're like, hey, kids, guess what? This is what I do. That's the level you need to boil it down to so that the investor understands. And that's the problem that I'm having with this term vouching. On top of which, I don't know that your other competitors aren't doing document first. That, I think, makes me wonder if other founders are solving the same problem, or other competitors have already solved the problem, or if that really is a differentiator that gives you competitive advantage and builds a moat to your startup. I don't know, because you haven't quite explained to me, or maybe you have included in all that text. I'm not going to read it. So simplify this down and use a competitive matrix. Use one of those features, benefits, matrices that explains this in clear English, or use a quadrant model. But this whole bullet point thing that you've got going on, that's not helping me right now. Meet the team. All right. I took a peek at this team. I like the team. Why? We've got domain expertise and we've got technical. So Anthony, great. Experienced data scientist, proven track record at Shopify. Well, simple. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Get the logos out there. If you've legitimately worked at these companies, get logos, because this is social proof. This is for everybody else. Driving vision for seamless financial operations. I don't need to do that, right? Just say experience and talk about, hey, in bullet points, 1, 2, 3, that you worked here and that you are driving the results for this startup. Let's look at this headline. You really got me with this whole thing. I got attracted to this. I totally skipped the headline, but this is good. A deeply technical trio with proven experience building enterprise-grade software now uniting to transform the audit process. Okay, that's great. I don't mind this, but get a little more detail if you can, like how many years experience and all those things. Strong team. Then you got Samuel, you got CTO, developed a call center messaging system at 15. I'm struggling with that one. Now used by major clients. Did you exit? What happened? Like exit previous startup, contributed to Turbo Repo. That's a name that I'm probably going to recognize. Need a logo, expert in system architecture, all that stuff. There's a lot to like here, and that's the reason I want you to highlight it. Then you got the CPO, Chief Product Officer, Front-End UX Expert at Clark AI, Miocolo. Okay, I don't recognize those, but the fact that we've got AI experience. Good-looking kid, by the way. Love the smile. Study cognitive computer science. Okay, just say here, the program, explain the program, and then specialized user-centric design, seamless integration, AI workflows. Okay, getting there. So there's a lot to love. It just needs to be improved. I think we're already at pretty much like a B, maybe a B plus, and you got all the potential to take this to an A minus slide right away based upon the fact that you're going to reformat this and then eventually get it to an A because investors are going to like it. Traction, early momentum, and market validation. In just a few weeks, we've secured pilots, advanced discussions, and strong signals from top auditors that our automated vouching solution meets a critical need. All right, so here's the thing. I saw screenshots. Now, are those screenshots your screenshots? Because this is what we want on a traction slide. I want to know, what is the state of the product? Is it already functioning, working? Is that what you show these people to secure the product? Secure the demos or secure the pilots. And then I want to know how much validation that you have, which you've got a chock full of it in terms of, hey, we got, pilots. And then I want to know growth. How fast is it going? Saying this happened in a few weeks. Okay, that's speed in terms of growth. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe it. I don't believe that you've just done this in the past 2 weeks and you secured it. Look at 30 auditor interviews and all those things confirmed, 816 hours per client loss. That's great. There's a lot to like here. And based on your domain expertise and your team, I believe you. And we need to pause right here. And this isn't just for you, but all the other founders watching this. You see how a really great team with domain expertise communicated properly made this traction believable. Made the fact that they've gone and talked to all these people, I actually believe it. I do believe that there's probably a pilot that has been secured, although I'm hesitant to go all in and be committed in terms of my belief. Why? I don't know the state of the product. And that's the reason traction needs to include the state of the product. And we break it down in that way. So make sure you include all those details to improve your credibility. You're doing a good job up to this point in time. Let's take it over the edge. Don't leave anything out in terms of what is going to be working for you. You've got a lot to like here. I'm digging it. Pre-seed fundraising, raising $750K. Target, we're raising $750K pre-seed funding, accelerate product development, expand pods, and establish an early lead in the AI-driven space. All right. There's a lot to like. First of all, we can just get rid of this. Make this your big headline. Establishing an early in AI-driven space. AI-driven audit space. Now, here's the thing. If you would have told me what state your product is in, because 750, I believe that you already have something that's working out there. I'm missing that gap, right? And then you got your standard, use of funds, all those things. So really what you want to do is just say we're raising X amount of dollars, 750K, for Y milestones, which you've done all that in Z timeframe. So explain to me the timeframe, how you're going to do this in the next 12 months, the next 18 months. Tell me where you're going to end up as far as your inflection point is going to be. Once again, I cannot harp enough that the missing piece that's creating a vacuum of information in my head is the state of your product. I'm going to assume that you have got something going because you're technical in there, which is what I love about your team. For me, this is a really strong team, really great background, and lots of great idea validation. You're showing me that you've got some early traction and the almighty founder market fit, which founders ignore all the time. I like it. This has got legs to it. It's just not communicated in a succinct way, but all the raw materials are there. Don't change the foundation, but work on the way that you word everything. If you've been working in accounting, I understand. You're probably going to be really verbose and barf all that information and get that out there because all the numbers and the data, that's what you need to do for the big four accounting firms. I get it, but not for investors. Simplify it down, continue to hone it down, and look for that one stark headline, maybe 3 bullet points, 1-word bullet points, each one, and see if you can communicate it. Just squeeze it all down, make it concise so you look totally confident, and that will only help present what you have as far as an amazing team so far and all this credibility It's going to help you raise the money. If you're a founder out there and you want your own pitch deck critiqued and reviewed, make sure you leave a comment, and then I'm going to respond and send you instructions, and you have to tell me what you are building, and that way we can have an intake form. We got a bit of a screening process. We have some hoops for you to jump through so we can do a constructive critique and review to help other founders, not just you. But if we're going to be doing these and we're going to be doing that out there, we're not charging any money for these, by the way, then guess what? We want it to be useful for everybody else. So you're contributing to other founders and their education. Leave that comment and we'll have an interaction, and I'll make sure that we help you out as best as we possibly can. Thanks to this founder and this team, Coalesce. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Appreciate you sending your pitch deck. Very courageous of you. Everybody else, let me know what you think about this startup. Be nice in the comments. Be encouraging, because we're all in this together. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you in the next video.